What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Hygro Hybrid with the SE1000 HID equivalent LED light connected to a light rail adjusted drive 4.0 with a robo arm right here. I'll leave all the discount codes in the description below. I just bumped this up. It was at 50. Coming in here, just kind of like eyeballing everything. Going to 70%. That seems more adequate, as you can see. So I just now switched these trays from, they were all on one tray. All four of these plants were all on one tray here in the middle. I was not running the light rail until now. This is the first time that I've actually fired the light rail up. It's plugged into the Titan controller up here, and it now comes on with the lights. So I got two trays. I split two plants up here, two plants here. For the most part, I want to say this light takes about 1.5 minutes to get back, and I've got it kind of dialed in. We've been waiting for this one for a little bit, and this will give us a lot more in-depth perception of what this light is capable of moving forward. I did not want to undermine a 1,000 watt equivalent HID LED light. Did not want to do that. Why not just go all out, throw it on a light rail and be done with it? Because we already know that this LED light can produce more than any 1,000 watt HID bulb. So let's take it up a couple notches and stick it on a robo arm and a light rail and see what we can do. Just go fucking balls to the wall. I would like to see at least 6 pounds in here. 6 pounds. It would be, because I can harvest 3 here and 3 here. If I can harvest 3 pounds for every, basically what I'm doing right now with every SE1000W, which I'm not even running to its full potential. But you got to remember, this is stationary. You know, that'd be 9+ pounds in this room, which is what I harvest, about 10 pounds in this room. So, like, 3 and change per SE7000. Switching it up to the SE1000W is a different animal, a different beast, because we only got one light. I took away the extra wattage split between 3 lamps and dedicated all that wattage basically into one lamp. I'm anticipating with this setup that I can harvest at least 6 pounds from this grow. If I can get 3 here and 3 here, that's 6 pounds with only basically 500 watts per 4x4 section, or even less. We'll see how that works out. I just plugged this setup in tonight. Like, it's been sitting idle for a while. It's just been stationary right in the middle up until today. It's just been like boop. But you can see how it's working. A speed dial. You have a delay, so once it taps the screw, you can set your delay to your personal preference, how long you want it hovering over these plants. The benefit to it is that the entire room gets coverage. There's only one drawback to this thing, is that these two center plants get the most light, because once this one is here, it's going to move over here, and then these two on the ends are going to get the least amount of light, which in this case I put for this reason, I put the smallest plants in the middle, put the largest plants on the end, as you can see. And because I want these ones to catch up in their vegetative state. So before I flip them, they're all in sync, and we can actually have a very well balanced canopy from the beginning. And I'll tell you this is the same strain as this one. There's two strains. So this is going to give us clear and concise, detailed information on this grow from start to finish, being that two of the biggest plants of the same strain are on the outside, the smaller strains are in the inside, and that should help. I did give it a really good healthy watering today with some silicate, and You can see everything's really, really nice. Look at these tree trunks. We're in veg. Look at these tree trunks. These are just like boom, boom. So just to let you know, all 4 of these plants were vegged on one 4x4 tray with that light at 50% or less power. Okay, 500 watts or less power got these plants this big. 500 watts, guys. I used to burn thousands of watts to get plants this big in veg. But on a single 4x4, we got 4 ginormous monsters. Look at this. Give you just like kind of like a topical view here. So after this watering, I want to let them acclimate to this new layout, okay? Because obviously the plants are going to get slightly less wattage on the end, but I did bump it up 20%. That should help. Overall, I could always move the light up and just crank it all the way. We're going to kind of play with these things as we go along to see how these end plants, you know, whether or not they like it. So it all comes down to just kind of visually assessing this thing day in and day out until we feel we have it dialed in, until I feel I have it dialed in, and we can press play with flower and start initiating that process. And these plants over here on the left and the right, I think the delay is all the way up, and we can actually do that right now on my watch. I got my timer going. So we're at 40 seconds. I just kind of want to cover all these little details on camera, and we should be kicking off anytime now. Oh, there we go. 1 minute. So it's 1 minute. The wait is 1 minute on the delay, and I think it takes about a minute and a half to get back. I've bent these things and cracked them over so many times, and that's the reason they've gotten so bushy, because I've actually flattened them out. Here, let me take you back to a couple photos of just like a month ago. This is what these plants looked like, I don't know, just about maybe 6 weeks ago. Here it is. Here's another picture of what they looked like a few weeks ago when I broke them over. Put the pimp hand on those bitches now. So you see how this one's getting less light now. That's my only concern, is I'm visually analyzing this. Obviously, there's no way that I could get the best of both worlds. I can't get coverage here and there 100% of the way. Not even with the light mover. The goal here is to see if cranking this light up to even 100% at 1,000 watts and just basically dividing the amount of par and the amount of time that it spends on this canopy and this canopy, indirect and even more indirect, if that's gonna suffice enough to even give us a really, really bountiful harvest on either side. I'm sure we're gonna get a good harvest, but is it gonna be equivalent to what we're typically used to seeing with a stationary LED light or a stationary HID light? That's the question. It doesn't really matter what kind of light you're running. The scenario, regardless of the light, would be the same across the board. The goal here is to see if we're going to get more with this one compared to any other fixture that I've ever run. So if I can get 6 pounds here, over 6 pounds here, we can take that information that we've acquired in that grow and put it forward to the next grow and make minor adjustments and improvements moving forward. Then we could possibly hit 8, 7, 8. I would like to see, between 6 and 8 pounds in this room with the one light at 100% all the time. And that might require that I raise this back, because you can see how the indirect light starts there on that horizon line right there with the shadow on the wall. The higher that I raise this light, the higher that indirect beam becomes over here. So the more light that this plant would have when this light is over here. I hope that makes sense. So the higher this light is, the more overall light the entire canopy is going to have from left to right. And that's just how it's going to work. I'm in veg right now, and I got these things like relatively close. I would say that's probably about, I don't know, 10 inches right there from the top of the tallest part of the plant. But you got to remember, it's not stationary. It's not like dead light constantly beating down on the plant to kill it. So that might be a big trade-off, is that one of the drawbacks that I've noticed with LEDs is that the lights are engineered and they work so well. They have so much power and they're capable of producing so much that the light can be too much for the plants. I'm literally dialing my lights back to in between 60 to 80% most of the grow, like 75% of the grow, due to the fact that the light is too intense. Now, if we can apply a scenario like we have now and then crank that light all the way up to 100%, the whole grow, pull the light back, and hope that the offset, the time here spent and then the time here spent, it kind of like stabilizes the canopy, regardless of, we're spent, a minute here and then we're spent a minute here and then a minute here. Overall, I'm really looking forward to this grow, and I hope you guys are too. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm like super analyzing everything that's going on here. Like I said, I just gave them a straight base newt at 480. We are at 480 parts per million. I am running a silicate, and that is it. That's all I'm running in this grow. I hope you guys enjoy this grow with me, because it's about to get wild. All right, guys. Hauger Hybrid, I'm out. You guys stay blessed. That's all I got. Until next time, I'll see you then. Peace. Woo!